Hello guys, what is up? What is going on? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, uh, first we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 presidential map. As you can see here, we're also going to be taking a look at just targets for each party. Obviously, these are going to be flips rather than just holds. Obviously, they're important holds, like the Democrats need to hold. The Rust Belt is important for Democrats. The Republicans can't win without Texas, but taking a look at more both parties playing offense. So we're going to start with the Democratic Party because they come first in the alphabet, and then we're going to go over to the Republican Party. So, yeah. Now, the Democrats, obviously, they won a variety of swing states. They won, first of all, they won Nevada, they won Arizona, they won the Rust Belt, which was important. They won Georgia and New Hampshire, if you consider that a swing state. They also won Nebraska's 2nd district, but at this point, I don't consider that a swing state anymore because of how blue it was this year. I overestimated Trump there by a lot. I thought it was going to be very close. It ended up not being as close as I expected. But, yeah, so first of all, we're going to rate these targets by, safe being the most, the most important target. And I'm going to go North Carolina is definitely the most important target for the Democratic Party. I mean, being realistic here, this is the state that they lost by the least. Sorry about the background noise, by the way. But this is the state that they lost by the least in the 2020 presidential election. They also really have kind of come. Well, just generally, they've come very close to winning elections here. The Senate race with Cal Cunningham was interesting because Cunningham only lost by 2%, but just that scandal really killed him. But and really in 2016, that Senate race, Elizabeth Dole, no, Deborah Ross, excuse me. I'm getting my North Carolina female politicians mixed up. Deborah Ross, she narrowly lost to Richard Burr. In 2014, Tom Tillis barely beat Kay Hagan. So Democrats have come really close to winning these races, and North Carolina's always been a swing state. It's been a swing state for basically my entire lifetime. But really, the majority of these toss-up races, I get Roy Cooper is an exception, but the majority of these toss-up races go to the Republican Party. But North Carolina, it was still very close. Joe Biden didn't really make a play for it in the final month. He focused on the Rust Belt as well as Arizona, but he didn't really make a play for it. So I think that's why he lost it in the end. And I think the Democrats, with demographic trends, the suburbs getting bluer, the black voters vote share growing, I think that they can really win North Carolina. So this is their number one target. Now, number two. Interestingly enough, I know this is interesting to say, but I think Florida still. I know that everyone's freaking out about Florida. Oh, it's a solid red state now. I've done a video on this before. The Democrats have the votes. They just need to start actually running better campaigns and actually make the Florida Democratic Party functional again. I mean, honestly, they nominated someone who was caught in a hotel room with prostitutes for governor in 2018. Now, that wasn't unearthed till later, but it's still very important. Sorry, I'm gonna have to edit this out. Um, uh, where was I? Whoops. But I was just going to say, Democrats, they have not been able to run campaigns in Florida. Like I said, the Florida Democratic Party is a complete joke. I mean, and I say this, and I'm not trying to make fun of the Florida Democratic Party. The Virginia Republican Party is also completely dysfunctional as well. But Florida, the Democratic Party of Florida, they have the votes. Florida should be at least a lean Democratic state based on the demographics. They have a lot of Hispanic voters in the South, just all of them grouped into Miami-Dade County, really. And Broward and Palm Beach as well, but Miami-Dade for the most part. They have big urban areas, like I said, Miami, but they also have Tampa Bay, they have Jacksonville, they have Tallahassee. The only rural part of Florida, or the only solid red part of Florida that makes sense is really the Panhandle, which is essentially an extension of Alabama. But really, the Democrats should be getting 55% of the vote here consistently, yet they find a way to lose it every cycle. I mean, they haven't won a statewide race here since 2012, and it's honestly an embarrassment for them. So Florida, though, right now, I do think it's still a target for them. They have to actually get their stuff together. But right now, I think that Florida could flip to 2024 if they run the right candidate and actually, like I said, run a good campaign. So Texas is going to be there as well. I mean, obviously not to the degree of North Carolina. I think North Carolina is definitely the obvious number one pick. But still, we have to acknowledge that Texas is getting bluer. And it could be, I think it's going to be definitely at least a toss-up or tilt Democratic by 2028. 2024, I think it'll be a lean Republican state, maybe tilt. But it still is a Democratic target. And if they run a Julian Castro, it's absolutely in play for them, absolutely a toss-up. But I think Beto shot himself and the Democratic Party of Texas in the foot when he, said, yes, we're going to take your AK-47s because Texas, a lot of them, they like guns. So Texans love their guns, and I think Beto O'Rourke kind of destroyed his future when he could have run for Senate in 2024. Instead, he destroyed his future. So, yeah. So we essentially have one more state that we got to figure out for the Democrats. And again, I'm kind of other than these three states, I'm kind of not sure. Obviously, uh, Ohio and Iowa would really be up next, but behind that, I really don't know. So I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm just gonna put Ohio. If they run Sherrod Brown, I think Sherrod Brown can do in Ohio, absolutely. But just the Democrats in Ohio have to actually, because they have the votes, similar to Florida, they have the votes here. They can run it up in these big urban areas like uh, Cleveland, Columbus, Toledo, Cincinnati, Dayton, which is becoming competitive now. Dayton is somehow competitive. It's like only a 10-point Democratic county when it should be plus 20 for them at the very least. But they have the numbers here. They have suburbs of Ohio are growing, like the suburbs of Columbus, the suburbs of Cleveland. So I absolutely do think that the Democrats in Ohio can win here. They just have to run a better campaigns. They also, Joe Biden didn't really make a play for it. I know he visited like the day before the election, but that was mostly because he felt like visiting Ohio before he went to Pennsylvania, which was the big key of the election. So Ohio, I'm just going to put there, but I don't think Ohio's going to flip unless the Democrats run Sherrod Brown. So now for the Republicans, number one target for the Republican Party definitely got to be Wisconsin. And I say this because it was so close. I mean, Joe Biden, he campaigned here a lot. So did Trump. This is a critical state for both candidates. But really, I mean, Joe Biden, she was a good candidate for Wisconsin. He still only won it by 1%. So I think the Republicans can absolutely flip it. There's a lot of speculation to the Republicans flipping Wisconsin. They've won statewide races here. 2020, they didn't have a Senate or gubernatorial election, so we didn't get to see what was going to happen in 2020 here. But Wisconsin, absolutely, I do think that the Democrats in Wisconsin are going to have they're going to have their hands full trying to keep the state blue in 2024. So Wisconsin definitely. Now following Wisconsin, I think is another obvious one. Pennsylvania, and like I said, the Republicans have a lot of targets here. So yeah, but they have more than the Democrats because they lost the election. I really think North Carolina is the only obvious Democratic target. So just to set the record straight there. But going back to Pennsylvania, Donald Trump lost this by 1.2%, I believe, or 1.4%. I'm not sure what it is, but he lost it by a little over 1%. And the Democrats had very high turnout here, especially from Allegheny County, which is where Pittsburgh is. Now, interestingly enough, Biden actually underperformed Clinton a little bit in Philadelphia, but he made up for it in Allegheny County. He won Erie County, and he won just a lot of these white working class voters in the Philly suburbs. He also improved in. So, yeah, but certainly I do think that Pennsylvania is a Republican target, and I think that they could pick it up if they run against Kamala Harris, who I think is a bad candidate for the Rust Belt. But if they do run a good candidate, they can absolutely win Pennsylvania. They did in 2016, and they can do that in 2024. Now, I will caution you from, and I used to say this too until I actually did further research, so I take full accountability. Pennsylvania, I don't think Pennsylvania is trending red. And I know people are going to scream at me and say, okay, well, the Sun Belt's trending blue, but the Rust Belt's trending red. I think Wisconsin's trending red. I think that's fair. But Pennsylvania's not, and I'll tell you why. In 2000, Al Gore only won Pennsylvania by, like, what? I think it's only 1%, right? Hold on. Yeah, he won Pennsylvania. According to Wikipedia, good old Wikipedia, he won Pennsylvania. I was wrong. He won it by 4%. So, decent victory. He won Pennsylvania by 4%. John Kerry, I know he only won it by 1% the following year. Or he actually won it by 2% the following year. So, 4 and 2% margin of victory. So, similar to Biden, a little more. 2008, Obama obviously had a big win there. He won by 10%. He won by 5% in 2012, but it's never been more than 10% for the Democrats, and that was just even in a super insane blue wave. Whoa, someone just texted me. In an insane blue wave year, they only won Pennsylvania by 10. Now, in 2016, Donald Trump only won it in a very good year for the Republicans in Pennsylvania. They won the Senate race there, and they won the in the Trump won the state. He still only won it by 0.5%. So Pennsylvania is not trending blue because the Democrats are gaining in the suburbs. The Republicans are gaining a little bit in the rural areas, but they kind of have maxed that out, really. And the Democrats, they might be losing a little bit in Philly, but their gains in the suburbs are definitely greater than their small losses in Philly. So, yeah, definitely Pennsylvania not trending blue, but it's still a swing state, absolutely. It always has been. For the past 20 years, Pennsylvania's been a swing state. It's never been a solid blue state. People say that Pennsylvania went from blue to toss-up. Are ill-informed. So, yeah. Now let's take a look at our next GOP target, and I think we're going to go down the state of Arizona. This is obviously very debatable, and the next one on my list is not going to be a surprise either. Actually, screw it. Michigan and Arizona. Michigan, I think Michigan is definitely their target because they lost it by what 2.3 no 2.9%, so around 3%. In Michigan, actually, John Kerry only won Michigan by 3%. I think Al Gore only won it by 3%. So Michigan has been close, but it has been a lean Democratic state. Now the Republicans are gaining in the rural areas, especially in the Upper Peninsula, which has been helping them out a lot. But the Democrats are gaining, actually, interestingly, in the Detroit area. They're also gaining in the suburbs. Michigan is more suburban than you'd expect. So I think that the Democrats certainly can win in Michigan. I think it'll if we see just any scenario, I think Michigan's going to be a tilt state no matter who wins it. But I think in 2020 it could be a tilt Republican state. But right now, I do think the Democrats have a slight edge in Michigan. I think the Michigan Republican Party as of late hasn't been good at nominating candidates. I think John James was actually not as good of a candidate as we originally thought. We also have to remember that they lost the governor's race there in 2018 by 11%. So I think Michigan is going to stay blue for 2024, but it's still absolutely a Republican target, and they can absolutely win it if the stars align. Arizona. Now, it depends on who they run, because if they run Donald Trump, they take the L in Arizona. But if they don't run Donald Trump, realistically, they can win Arizona, but the trends there just, they have to overcome a big Democratic voting bloc in Pima County. They also have to overcome their loss of suburban support in Maricopa, and just Maricopa's trending blue overall. I mean, Obama lost it by 13% 8 years ago. Now it's a Biden plus 2 county. So, yeah, but Arizona, I think the Republicans can still win it. Like, if they run a moderate neocon, they can win Arizona. But, yeah, right now, so this is my target map, obviously. I think you can put Minnesota in the list of targets for Republicans. I wouldn't advise that they do that. Oh, Georgia. I'm so stupid. Georgia is a target, absolutely. Georgia and Arizona are targets. So, actually, we're going to put Georgia in the lean column. Georgia, Arizona. So, I know I did 5 for the Republicans, so my bad if you just skipped to the end. But thank you. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, share with your friends.